Hey, DMZ here with the Elderwood tree demo. Hopefully after I show you a few of these steps, you'll be well on your way to making your own big old trees. First, I started off with this crystal sort of foam that I found to be the cheapest at Hobby Lobby. Second thing I did was for the base is I used this hardboard from the hardware store. I think this is, it's about a 1/4 inch. That was for the base. Same stuff down there. I hit it with the hot glue, but not too much hot glue because it will melt the plastic foam. You're going to have to be careful with that guy, but then it just mounted right on top. Have that going. Take the hot glue gun again and draw out your squiggly lines for your roots. I probably went about 3-4 layers high most everywhere. Again, be careful not to hit the foam too much or you'll melt it. On the tree limbs, I use bendable wire. I got this at Home Depot. Multi-purpose wire, 14 gauge. Now the reason why I went with the 14 gauge is because of the particular kind of plastic plants that I had. When you popped them off and they're hollow inside there, the wire fit perfectly and was able for me to just slip right on. And then you'll also have the plug of your plant when it's time to cap it. Just cap it. Can't tell you where I got the plants. I got those free at school, but it was more of like an aquarium-based plant, so I'm guessing they probably picked some up at Walmart. But the main thing you're going to want to be looking for on the plants is the kind of plug caps, and then also that the leaves are going to have a hollowed center. We'll be able to put them on. All right, you cut out your piece of wire. You're going to want to fold it in half. Doesn't have to be exact or perfect. I found I did like taking a pair of pliers and squeezing them a little bit closer. You're going to want to insert them through the foam. Now they might kind of spray out and go their separate ways once they're inside the foam, but that's okay. And that's gonna push in. Now don't worry about it sticks out a little bit. That's gonna be okay because once you cover it with our fake bark trick that I'll show you in a second, you'll be okay. Now you'll notice here that this gets pretty flimsy once it's inserted through the foam. But this one over here, super sturdy. The trick for that one is going to be your Gorilla Glue. Now, the Gorilla Glue does eat the foam a little bit. I held up a piece of the crystal foam underneath the magnifying glass and applied the Gorilla Glue to it, and it did start to eat it away, but just a teensy bit. The cool thing about the Gorilla Glue, if you haven't used it before, is it expands. It expands like, I don't know, 3 to 4 times its size. So even though it ate away a little bit of the foam, try and see if we can get up close here. Even though it ate some of the foam, it more than makes up for it when it expands, and it provides a nice, super solid reinforcement. So you're going to want to take your Gorilla Glue, kind of squirt it down in the holes that you just poked through. I made sure and squirted some deep into the back side as well. Here's a look from the back side. Tugging on that pretty hard. It's not going anywhere. So that's how you get the wires through for your tree limbs and how you secure them. I'm going to pop this back out. Alright, now, for your bark. A couple different choices. This right here is just straight up wood filler. Big can of it, about $6-8. Elmer's is kind of proud of this, I guess. throw this on, throw some paint on. And what I liked about this is it gave it a nice hard exterior. You kind of press on it a little bit and it's not going to give very much. Some brown paint, Walmart, a couple bucks a bottle. And then I did use a black dry brush to go over it. Here I have one of these new cool Sharpie felt tip paint pens. So just to show you quickly how I did it is you just kind of hit the side of the bark. You know, if you're doing a dark wood tree, I guess if you wanted to do something like an elm or a sycamore or an oak, you probably want to grab some pictures on the net and notice that they have some interesting color patterns when you really take a close look up at them. But there's the gist of the bark trick with some highlighting. I also tried some latex caulk because I had some of that around, and it provides a pretty good coverage. One nice thing is that it's going to be super flexible, so when you paint around the tree limbs, it's going to be able to bend with it and not break off. On the downside, when you press it, it doesn't give much support and you're able to crunch the foam underneath. You know, if you want to put a couple layers on, because that's what you have laying around and you don't feel like buying wood filler, more power to you. It takes paint just as well, and it's going to take the dry brushing just as well too. So a couple choices on that. What you painting? When it comes to the discs that I put on, so the minis could actually jump up and down the tree. I had these leftover hardboard discs from another project that I had. You can also buy pre-made discs at Hobby Lobby or Michael's for just a couple bucks. Want to go the quick and easy way? You mount this underneath and kind of make like a hot glue gun Oreo. You take this down, be liberal with your hot glue gun application. Take the other one, sandwich it on top, and you're going to have a nice solid base for those minis to jump around on. Want to go the extra mile, and this is what I did for mine, is I drilled a couple holes side by side. And now I mounted this, and then I took a zip tie because I really didn't want these going anywhere in addition to the hot glue that I used. So now you zip tie that on. I want to reuse the zip tie, so I'm not going to really do it. Zip it down. It's going to be nice and tight. Now it's really not going anywhere. Hot glue, disc on top, and you're good to go. Want to go an extra mile? Get one of your magnetic discs after everything's painted. Glue that on top. Now what you'll be looking at is something like this. And another advantage of the washers on the bottom of the Mini is they're magnetized. So if somebody goes bumping the tree while they're playing and they're excited because they're climbing a tree and they've never done that before, and you're the greatest dungeon master ever, or maybe things get really crazy, don't have to worry about it. That's not going anywhere. On the bottom of the base, for the painting of it, I kind of just used one darker color and one lighter color. For the base, I would use dark green and pretty much cover everywhere. And then I just hit a few points with the lighter green to give some contrast. When it came to some of the fuzzy bits, the ground cover, I just used Elmer's glue and applied it with a paintbrush, spread it all around. This is just straight up woodland scenics, bushy kind of ground cover. Those are some of these higher spots you see right here. For the other bit of ground cover, this is a little secret ground cover technique. You can get these big bags of moss. Again, I found these at the dollar store if you're not too worried about the color. You can also get better shades, more vibrant shades at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Walmart has a pretty decent selection. And then what you do is you put it in the food processor or your coffee grinder or your baby food maker, and you chop it up, and it's going to come out pretty fine. I dare say even finer than some static grass that you get in the store. Now what you do have to be careful of is this fake moss stuff. It does have the brown underneath and the green on top. It's going to come out kind of dark. Darker than you might think. This was my first batch ever, so I'm going to experiment a little bit more with some of the more vibrant colors. But for like a rotting leaf kind of coverage, this is a big tree. It's been there for a while. I'm sure the ground is very fertile underneath it. You sprinkle that around too. So that's kind of the two-tone effect with 2 tones of paint and 2 tones of ground cover. Oh yeah, and you can also take some of the patches of moss and just glue it right on the side of the tree if you'd like to. And that is about 12 minutes, which is much longer than I thought it would take, of how to do the tree. Hope that helps. If you have any other questions, write a post. I'll get back to you. Go Crafters Go. Thanks for watching.